What's wrong with Tony Stewart? He was with the lead pack, back on the lead lap, started in the back, but he cannot hold the pack. Meanwhile, Clint Bowyer in the 07 has brushed the wall.
I believe Tony's got some kind of engine problem because he is dropping back in a hurry. 07's got quite a bit of right side damage. He's going to have to come to pit road with those tires rubbing.
Oh yeah, we're good. You just made her a little smaller. She'll be faster now.
I'm not sure about that comment. Like you say, those tires rubbing, he's going to have to probably get the pit road. He actually whacked it a couple of pretty good whacks.
Yeah.
David Stremme in the 40 had to avoid Bowyer.
He did narrow it up, but he also unlined it.
I can tell something must be happening on the racetrack because once again no one's sitting down here, and I think it's because of that number 8 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. working his way toward the lead.
I tell you, that little run he made earlier to catch this pack all by himself, and that impressed me. That told me he's sitting on a pretty good piece.
Dale Jr. has won 5 of the last 11 Cup races at Talladega, including 4 in a row. And that grandstand is a sea of red. Red shirts and hats, as Junior is 3 cars from the lead, which is pretty hotly contested right here. Now, nowhere near this pack, Tony Stewart all by himself. Steve, what's wrong?
Mike, we just listened to Tony Stewart. He said somebody got on the brakes in front of him and he had to check up or hit the brakes as well, and he just lost momentum.
And once you lose that draft, there's
car
no
goes
getting
around.
back.
I think it's the 07 going around up there in 3 and 4.
Bowyer has crashed.
Yeah.
Very possibly cut
a
the tire
down. He did. I saw it snap.
Caution is out, which is a huge break again for Tony Stewart in that 20 car. Not a good break for Clint Bowyer, but for sure Tony.
Now, Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon were side by side at the moment of caution. But what matters on the scoring chart is where they were at the last of the loop sensors that they crossed just prior to the caution. So Gordon should remain the leader as the pace car picks them up in turn 2.
But I think Tony's a good example of how easy it is to lose the draft here. You got to be on your game.
Won't start either. Did you blow it?
This is the first incident with Bowyer.
Well pumped there in the middle.
Just gets up a little too high.
Wide up top. 4 wide way up top.
That's a hard lick in that wall at that speed.
4 wide there. Just hold your line.
Trying to make it around to the pits or trying to ride it out. There it goes.
Yeah, you see the right front tire looked like may have gone first. We saw the smoke from the tires. I questioned leaving him out.
He's had such a great year, but these restrictor plate racetracks, they have not been good to him. Remember, he finished the Daytona 500 across the start-finish line on his roof, and a bad day here on lap 81 for Clint Bowyer. Comes in here 9th in the Nextel Cup points.
Well, Junior last pitted on lap 74, and they all day long in this race have been concerned about temperature. One of the crew members now wiping the grill. They don't feel they can take any more tape away, getting every last drop of fuel into the car. And we've seen that time after time. Tires on, and they wait until they get every bit of fuel in it.
And this will make it, if we can cycle through these green flag stops, it'll make it where it's a one-stop
Trouble.
race.
Casey Mears.
And you know what? I'm not so sure this is the product. I think he was trying to get the pit road because he was one of the cars that needed the pit.
Got punted by Jimmy coming in.
And it sounds like he
man, see if he fired up. See if he
may
fired
have
up.
gotten turned by his teammate.
But I definitely think Casey Mears was trying to get to pit road in this 25 car.
That's what the spotter indicated, Larry.
Yeah. Let's see. He's
And
right here. He is
right in the front of the pack.
But you know, Larry, yeah, I mean, he's up a little high. Man, that's a hard lick.
Hit.
But he was up a little bit too high there trying to get, you know, he should have been a little lower maybe. I don't know.
Let's watch from Jimmy Johnson's on board.
See right here, he moves, coming through the corner, he moves out a little bit.
My question would be, did he give a good solid hand signal, especially going out in the back straightaway to let those guys know, hey, I'm going to pit road?
Hey, that's a Hendrick car. He got run over by his Hendrick.
Unbelievable, man. They just took us out of the freaking points.
Yes.
Unreal.
Mears came in here 36th in points, and he was poised to gain 9 spots. in the Nextel Cup standings, which meant he would be exempt from having to qualify his way into the field next week at Richmond.
I can't imagine why that their teammates, they wouldn't know each other when you're coming to pit road.
Need to update Dale Earnhardt Jr. because of the size of this racetrack. He was able to make that green flag stop, and I think it was a great call. He went with 2 tires because he stayed on the lead lap. When this is all over with and these cycle of pit stops, he'll be leading this race.
Boy, there's good news. Casey Mears walked away.
Yeah, because that thing went hard into that inside retaining wall.
Take this restart from our DLP Ultimate Picture Cam. 60 laps to go in Talladega.
Darrell, I believe Kenny Wallace got too good of a start. I think he's a sitting duck with that 24 car in that group back there. He did duck in front of Bobby Labonte that's 3 laps down, but he got a heck of a start that may not be good because they'll gang up on him now.
Probably will, but I tell you, that's not a bad race car today. He's got that power, Hendrick power on the hood, and he's taking advantage of it.
Do need to make mention Clint Boyer, 41 laps down. The 07 car hit the wall earlier. They repaired that car. He's back out on the racetrack.
They've caught Kenny Wallace, and without a drafting partner, he will lose the lead.
But this is still a great day for Kenny Wallace, just
Got
like
that
Darrell
right.
mentioned.
2 cars I've been really impressed with all day has been Kenny and Sterling Marlin that has been able to run up front most of the day.
The irony, we've had several ironies today, and the irony of that last crash was that the last time these cars were at Talladega, it was the 25 that took out the 48 for the win. At that time, the driver was Brian Vickers. The other irony is that Tony Stewart, who's now steaming up the outside. Oh,
trouble.
Ricky Rudd in the wall.
Trouble back
Nemechek
there.
Around. Kyle Busch.
You know what? I'm not so sure that wasn't started. Oh, is that Dale?
Jeff Burton, 31 car. Kyle Busch, another wreck today, just like yesterday.
And a very hard hit.
That is, he's old. There's a window net coming down.
Oh, it's good to be 21, Darrell.
Nemechek's car crashed.
Kyle's going to drive it back.
He's going to try to.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere but in a circle, and if he's not careful, it's going to cook that engine because you know the radiator, you can see the water running out from under it.
I tell you, we got to take a look at this, but I believe the 48 car was involved in this little skirmish.
Somebody tipped Ricky Rudd into the wall. Let's see who.
I think just watch this down the back.
Rudd is behind Tony Stewart on the outside.
Yeah, they're right. They're right here. Here's the 48 car right here.
But the 96, Tony Raines, looks like he got up into Jimmy Johnson, the 48, initially off turn 2, I believe, Darrell.
I believe you're right, Larry. I saw the 48 move. Gosh, that's a hard lick by those 2 cars. Good thing the safer barrier is there again.
Let's look from the rear bumper of Kevin Harvick's Pennzoil Chevy.
Oh. Man, look at Nemechek's car go airborne. And then Kyle Busch's car goes airborne when it hits the rear wheels come off the ground.
You're riding with Jeff Burton.
Oh, man. Oh. Oh, gosh.
That was when the 5 car.
Listen, y'all, I know you don't know what that feels like. Unless you've been in one of these crashes, you can't imagine how that hurts.
The good news, Darrell, everybody is either driving back like Jeff Burton or has climbed from their cars okay.
Mike, it's like Muhammad Ali would walk up to you and just hit you as hard as he could right in the gut.
Let's show you the aerial view and see if the 96 of Tony Raines, which is way on the left of your screen here, tips into Jimmy Johnson to trigger this.
Oh, it sure looks like it. I don't know if there was contact between the 96 and the 48, but there definitely was movement enough to push him over into Ricky Rudd in the 88.
And just a chain reaction behind him with all these other cars.
Look at those 2 cars, the 31 and the 5 come together, collide. That's definitely what happened, Larry. The 96 scooted up the hill just enough to get into the left front of Jimmy Johnson, and there was Ricky Rudd, forced him into the wall.
Now watch the 13 come across.
Bam.
He got turned around by his teammate Sterling Marlin trying to slow down.
Look at that 5 car. It was flying backwards.
There is contact, we're told.
That's all it takes is just that little nudge. You can run this close together all day long until somebody does something like that, and then it's gonna affect a lot of guys.
Boy, those two cars scrubbed off no speed whatsoever on the way to the inside wall.
There have been a lot of racetracks where the safer barrier has not been installed, or at least in the past, on the inside walls. Man, thank God for there, and again off of turn 4 earlier.
And a good thing, the asphalt there. That kept those cars at least on the ground.
All right, let's join Krista with Casey Mears. A lot of debris was laying up in turn number 2, and that brings us under caution. The reason? Juan Pablo Montoya got up and into the wall, perhaps after contact from Ryan Newman here.
You can see the speed difference right there on Montoya in the 42 car, Ryan Newman the 12. It was about 5-6 miles an hour difference, Newman being the faster car.
And that really pancaked the right side of his Haviland number 42.
Mighty fast right there.
He got on that concrete and he couldn't get it stopped.
Couldn't get it wound up. You know, Ryan Newman and the 42 do have a history of running into each other.
Juan's very first start at Homestead Miami Speedway the end of last year.
Now what you saw on the apron there was the right front fender of Newman's car.
Now, Mike, what will be interesting, we know some guys were close on fuel. Now, these cautions will buy you more time. I think we'll have some guys, as you see, it looks like about half and half. A lot of them coming to pit road, Steve, to top off.
Kevin Harvick, who won the Daytona 500, who started in the next to last row. Well, he come to the front.
We saw him at Daytona. Man, he came from nowhere at Daytona to drag race with Mark Martin to the finish line to win. And, of course, we remember what happened behind them, too. And we're getting ready to settle it, boys.
We're going into overdrive, folks. Green, white, checker to finish it off in Talladega.
If you're going to get Jeff Gordon, you got to get him now.
Yes,
you
sir.
cannot let him get up to speed.
Regardless of where the start finish line is.
I tell you.
But Jeff Gordon can't get a big restart and get away from the pack because then they'll draft on by him.
I think McMurray is going to try to jump all over him like a frog on a June bug.
Green flag. Johnson to the inside.
And there goes Kurt Busch in the 2 car with him, pushing him. They're going to trap McMurray in the 26 on the high side.
Boy, I'll say, look at him fan out. High, low, high, low. Somebody help me. Oh.
There goes Stewart, the 20 to the high side with no help. They're 3 wide off turn 2.
Trouble, boys, trouble. It's over.
There's the caution. There is the caution right there. Only one attempt at this green-white checker.
And Stewart has crashed. While everyone lifted for the caution flag, Tony Stewart ended up in the wall.
And we certainly know that Jeff Gordon, the 24 car, was leading this race at the time of caution. Now, one thing that differs from determining the restart order after a caution in the race is they'll go to where the cars were at the minute the caution came out as far as the finishing order, not where they crossed the last loop for the finish of the race.
Let's see what happens here, because they were all coming up to speed and there was a lot of blocking going on. You see Gilliland, I just saw him cut down in front of Tony.
Kenseth got into Sauter. Sauter's still okay. 4 wide.
4 wide, and no, the 16 comes down, catches the 70, but there's action in front of these guys.
Well, Elliott Sadler and the 16 got together. That's what caused the wreck. But when everybody
right here, you see the 38 and Tony.
Who tipped David Gilliland around?
Somebody must have. Was it 26?
Ouch.
Man, that's a hard hit, and there's no safer barrier there.
No, we may see from another angle who tipped Gilliland.
They go way up there.
I mean, the 16 Biffle just came down on Elliott Sadler, and Johnny Sauter, the 70, ended up being the victim there, and Elliott Sadler was able to continue.
NASCAR will determine at what moment they lit up the caution lights to freeze the field and end the race. Stewart very unhappy.
Not sure what that's about. We'll figure it out, though.
Because somebody sure turned him. The wreck was behind him, but as the caution flew, a lot of people checked up.
Let's see what happens. There's Tony on the high, up on the outside. To see a wreck behind him.
McMurray.
Somebody
got into the back of David Gilliland in that 38 car as well, which I think was all part of that equation right there.
Boy, and then there, you see down here where Tony hits the wall, there's no safer barrier there. You can see it stops at that opening back there. That's a hard driver lick. Oh, here we go. Here we go. 26 is there. The 38.
The silver car.
The 38's kind of coming up, and McMurray's kind of caught in the trap.
Yeah, I mean, I know Tony's upset with Jamie right now. I'm not sure Jamie could do a whole lot about that.
Checkered flag waves on Jeff Gordon. His 77th career NASCAR Nextel Cup victory.